Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna 'alan nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu 'alayhi wa sallimu taslima. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم منبع العلم والحلم والحكم وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. صلاة وسلام عليك يا رسول الله، صلاة وسلام عليك يا حبيب الله، صلاة وسلام عليك يا رحمة للعالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والحادي على صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. How perplexing and intriguing is it that only until recently mankind was recognizing himself to be on top of the world, at the pinnacle of history, the height of humanity, the prime of its life in existence. Until recently, man had climbed the steps of the modern world, and it seemed it ripped it apart. It bore its chest wide open and roared with pride, as if to say, we can do whatever we want, wherever we want, and to whoever we want with. It seemed there was nothing stopping the modern man. Mastering vast amounts of technology, in science, in business, in buildings, the tallest buildings on earth, whilst preparing to fly to Mars. He advanced in technology at such extraordinary speeds that writers couldn't keep up. What was freshly written only yesterday was in the history bins of today and now. From drones to self-driving electric cars to nanotechnology to 5G speeds monitoring the smallest objects from space, the list is endless and the strive was relentless. From the outside, man, it seemed, was trying to reach the stars, but from the inside, man was lost, suffering, limping, trapped in the illusions of grandeur and self-delusions, totally and completely oblivious to the fact that mankind in reality knew very little about man himself. Completely lost. Yes, man had advanced, but only in materialism, only in how to use certain objects and how to better produce those same objects. Innovation is not creation. Man has created nothing. Create a single ayat like this. The challenge has been there since 1400 years. Has there been anybody that has been able to create? No. Man had not, in fact, advanced himself, and instead was losing control of his soul. As a poet says, I forged ahead and advanced to my success, yet stood still on the ground I had not left. I forged ahead and advanced to my success, carrying the weight of destruction I now possess. I forged ahead and advanced to my success, oblivious to my soul, lost in the process. If anything, the coronavirus has proven that the roaring modern man is but a lost little child panicking and clueless in front of the simple modern cold. Running around like a headless chicken trying to manage the losses? What happened to that roaring confidence? Where is all that vast amount of science and technology? What happened to the vast strides in biology, chemistry and medicine? What happened to all those billions of pounds stacked up like tanks now lost in the winds of falling shares? Governments are going into debts worth trillions of pounds in only a matter of weeks, calling it the worst possible recession since the Second World War. We learn that the greatest frontier is not the conquest of materialism, is not the conquest of faraway land or faraway skies, but the greatest frontier is mankind himself. And the modern man has not advanced at all, but instead decayed in the shadows of materialism and false successes. If man had in fact advanced, then he would not be killing fellow man. He would not be persecuting his fellow man, would not be leaving migrants to die in the great seas. He would not be destroying nations and scorching the earth. Man would not be using up all its energy in the chase of money, oil and riches without a care for his fellow brother. Yet, this is the world in which we now live. Syria, Palestine, Yemen, Iraq, Afghanistan, Kashmir, India, China, Burma. Humanity burns, yet man remains silent. Blood is spilt like water, and man daily turns the other cheek. Bodies of children thrown to the seashores, yet man is more interested in reality TV. Is this truly the mankind that we were created for? Is this the man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be? What has become of man? Is this what we were meant to do? We have become like this because we have started to accept without question, without any hesitation, blindly, the wrong purpose of life. We've been accepting the descriptions of mankind from people who themselves have no clue about the origins of humanity. They're telling us and we're accepting it. Today's man is being described and taught by atheists as non-believers. What they describe is that man is a developmental animal, as an evolution from the animal kingdom. We've evolved from apes into men, and society has accepted this. It is embedded within the fabric of the education system, and our young children are brought up thinking this to be true. So when man starts to kill another man, why should this be a concern to anyone? Because after all, isn't this the act of our forefathers? Ma'azallah. Isn't this the survival of the fittest from the animal kingdom? Today's man is also being taught by people like social philosophers that he is but a social animal, they say. That man is nothing more than a result of social engineering. It is a society that makes man and not fitrat or superior power. So relationship between man and our understanding of each other is nothing more than societal progression as social development. It is part of who we are and how we learn in society. It is part of social desires that is quite normal, they say, and that every law is open to change by society. What was totally unacceptable yesterday is now not only acceptable, but enforced by law to be accepted by everyone. It must be accepted. But if every law is open to change, then what is the need of God's law, which is constant and never changing? Ask a chemist or a physician about man, and he will give you the chemical makeup of man. This is his knowledge. He is made up of oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen, and nitrogen, and calcium. But can you really recreate man by putting together these chemical ingredients? No. Ask a psychologist, and he will say that man is but a being put together by emotional connections. Emotions of fear, anger, sadness, joy, love, disgust. Take away these emotions, he says. Take away these emotional connections, and man is emotionless, empty. He no longer exists. He is a zinda lash. Ask a biologist and he will give you a different answer. The man is a formation of certain biological entities, such as organs intertwined by neural connections stacked around flesh, skin on top of skeletal bones. This is his description of man. Whichever expert you go to, they will have their own versions of man. One man and 1,000 different versions of him. But why is it? Why is it that the one to whom we should be going to, the one from whose wisdom and knowledge man originated from, the maker, the sustainer, the knower of all and everything, the creator of man himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why do we not turn to him? Why is it that humanity refuses to acknowledge him, refuses to believe in him, denies his existence? You may not believe in him, but subhanallah, look at what he says about you. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have created man in the most beautiful of forms, in the best of structures, the best and the most complete construct. This is not just anyone saying this. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, the creator of creation. He is saying this, that there is no creation better than man. And then he states, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Adam was taught the names of everything, given knowledge of everything that has been created. Not only was he created in physical imperfection, but with ilm as well. And once he was created, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا. We commanded the angels to bow down before Adam. فَسَجَدُوا. And they bowed, they prostrated, they sajda to Adam alayhi salam. Why? وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We have honored the children of Adam. We have put the crown of honor on their heads and elevated their status, their maqam. Adam was not just any creation. According to the Holy Qur'an, man is the best of creation and the most honored of creation. Man is not just any being. Man has been honored with a crown on his head to command over everything and not to be commanded. Man has been given the knowledge over everything to be free from subserviency and to think for himself. Man has been given authority over everything in this world to rule and not to be ruled. Man has never been made to be subjugated, but to govern and control all of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. أَلَمْ تَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Do you not see? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made subjugated for you whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth. Everything from the stars and the galaxies, the sun and the moon, the earth and everything within it has been created for man. Man is no ordinary being. Just think for a minute. For billions of years, this world has been waiting and waiting. Trillions of years pass whilst light and darkness collide. Stars are formed. Gases are formed. Liquid and solids are formed. And finally, a world eventually arises into existence. The sun and the moon are fixed to nurture and cradle this sensitive and this fragile world. الشمس والقمر بحسبان. The sun and the moon move with precision for you and for the earth. Then water and seas are formed. Rivers and greenery are formed. Small creatures are formed. And then large creatures and life of animals begin. Still, millennia pass until finally the right moment comes. The perfect time arrives when the first of mankind is to descend from the heavens. The father of humanity, the source of all human beings being born. Ever the greatest of all grandfathers, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. The entire world has been created for this moment, for the best of creation to arrive, to take his place as the crown of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creations. And when he arrives, subhanallah, as part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's master plan, the superior plan, he arrives full of emotions and full of feelings. He arrives with a history of events in Jannah. His eyes and intellect are alert and wide open to the reality of what has just happened, the reality of what needs to happen, the reality of what needs to happen, the reality of what needs to happen. He arrives with a single purpose, a single focus, maqsad. When he arrives, he immediately falls into sajda. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. This was always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plans. We learn that the entire universe was created for mankind. But man, subhanallah, man was created only and only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The man of Qur'an understands this. He knows this. He feels this. Because that man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to be in the Holy Qur'an, and you will also understand the maqsad of life if you become that man. Today's man is born. He is educated. Only educated about how to earn money, how to earn income. He then works and earns money through his life, and then for a short while he lives off his earnings until he dies and gets buried. Think about this. Is this the reason why man was created? Is this the reason why the universe was put together? Is this the life man ought to be leading? Is this the reason why the sun and the moon, the earth, the water and the mountains were all created in perfect balance? وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَ وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ. Is this the reason why the entire creation, from the smallest of insects to the largest of creations, was made for? So that man can earn money, fill his belly, fill his belly over and over again and then die? The man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called the most perfect and beautiful construct of creation, ahsan taqween, the beautiful. Today's man is running around trying to work day in, day out, morning and night, Monday to Friday, even during lockdown, trying to work within the tight schedules and small spaces. Wherever he goes, he can't get rid of these limits, this time and space. Even countries and nations have been forced into submission by others imposing their own time and space sanctions. Today's man feels suffocated, trapped, and helpless. But if you are that man of Qur'an, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed the keys of both time and space in the palm of your hands. وَالسَّخَّرَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ. The sun and the moon have been fixed for you, subjugated for you. He has enslaved time and space for man's comfort. Listen, they don't control you. You control them. They are at your service. Open your eyes. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا تَشْعُرُونَ أَفَلَا تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Why don't you think? Why don't you have shu'ur over these things? فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will you deny? How then can the man of Qur'an ever be defeated by time or space? Neither time can touch you, nor space defeat you. You will know that every single day is made for you, that there is a better life in the hereafter, that this temporary life is certain to come to an end. It is certain to come to an end. We shall taste our death. Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. The man of Qur'an knows that the entire earth is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's land, created just for him. And so how can they ever take and think about this? How can they ever take any part of land from you, from the man of Qur'an? And if time and space cannot defeat the man of Qur'an, then how can he ever be defeated by people who see themselves as slaves of time and space, restricted by time and space? The truth is, man needs to rise above, open his eyes and understand how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to see, how He wants us to hear, how He wants us to understand, how He wants us to act. Once we do, then there is nothing the man of Qur'an cannot do. Become the man of Qur'an and see. Our Anbiyas and Awliyas were men of Qur'an, and the entire creation moved at their command. The seas parted ways for them. The mountains bowed to their command. The winds moved at their direction. We can never be prophets, but we can be the men of Qur'an that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, "He who is hostile to a friend of mine, I declare war against him. When I love him, I am his hearing with which he hears, his sight with which he sees, his hands with which he seizes, and his foot with which he walks. If he asks me, I will surely give him. And if he seeks refuge in me, I will surely protect him. I will surely protect him." If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our protector, then what more do we need? What more do we need? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to become the men of Qur'an, the type of man Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. وآخر الدعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.